video, and so that we can comment. Let's watch this video.
Alright, so this is the phone that was sent over. It's a white 17 Pro Max. So before we do anything, we need to test if the customer's complaint is right. And he reported saying that the phone turns on, but there is no image on the screen, and like this, the screen is not displaying anything. So I'm turning this phone on. I've pressed the power button, but still. So let me try with a charger. But before then, I want you all to know that this charger is working. So I'm going to put the charger inside this phone, and then it's charging. So once I put the charger inside this phone, it should also display something. So I have the charger plugged in, and there is no image on the screen. It doesn't display anything. But I think from the charging unit, I see it's drawing some current. So let's disassemble this one and then find out what's wrong with this one. So let's do it.
Hello. Hola, Carlos. Hello.
So I have fully disassembled the screen, and I think I've noticed something. So this phone, looking at the internal structure, and it's missing some plates. There's supposed to be a battery cover here and a screen cover, which means they've either tried or tested this phone with another screen, or they've done something to this phone. So this phone has been touched. Alright, so let's continue with my diagnosis. So I'm going to first test this phone with another screen to see if it's the problem with this screen. So let's test with another screen. I have this 17 Pro Max screen lying around that I'm going to use it to test this phone. So I'm going to plug this screen on the phone. Alright. And then insert the charger again. Okay, so I have inserted the charger. I've seen that the phone is drawing arms. It flickered, did you see? But there is no image on the screen. So this is the customer screen. I'm going to test his screen also on another phone. Okay. Let me plug the screen in. And let's see what happens. So my customer screen is working perfectly, and this means there is a problem with his phone. So my customer screen is this, and it's working perfectly, no problem. Okay, so now that we've confirmed my customer's complaint saying that the phone doesn't display anything, it's true. This phone is not displaying any image. So let's proceed with fixing the phone. Before I do anything, I need to check the screen connector to see if it has gone through any stress, and yes, you can see they've touched some capacitors. They've touched some capacitors on the screen connector rail, and the connector itself doesn't look good. So let's fully disassemble this phone. I'm going to take out the motherboard, then we proceed with our diagnosis. Let's go. So I have removed the motherboard. This is the motherboard of the 17 Pro Max that we are working on, and I'm going to have to place this motherboard under the microscope. So under the microscope, this is the screen connector. This is where the screen connects. You understand? So yeah, I'm going to have to take diode mode readings on the screen connector. All these tiny pins that you are seeing, all these tiny pins, all of these tiny pins that you see, all these pins, they all have values attached to them. And I have the values here on my software. So I'm going to have to compare the values that I get from this motherboard onto the values that are supposed to actually be on the motherboard. So I have the values here, and I'm going to use my multimeter to check if the values that I'm supposed to get on the motherboard actually aligns with the values on the software. So without further ado, let's continue and let's go on with this diagnosis. Alright, so after comparing the screen connector diode readings with the actual values that we were supposed to get, we found out everything was intact. This is very unlikely. Most of the time, if a screen is not displaying any image, one of these pins probably has a shorted circuit or something, but in this case, everything is intact. So our next step is to have to actually separate this motherboard and then find out what's actually inside of the motherboard. So let's separate this motherboard. All right. Alright, so after conducting some diagnosis around the display IC chip, I found this particular line is shorted to ground. But the problem is this line, it connects with a series of other lines. I mean, it goes through other capacitors. So in order for me to find out which cap or which line is actually shorted, I need to use the smoke method. So I'm going to cover some parts of the motherboard with a smoke, a rosin smoke, and then inject voltage through that line. Then we can see which line is actually, or which cap is actually shorted to ground. Is there a fun one? So now I have covered, please forget about this, right? I have covered this area with rosin smoke. So I'm going to inject voltage onto this particular line and then see which capacitor actually pops and removes by itself. So using my short killer, I'm going to inject voltage onto that line. So let's do this. Let's do this. Okay. So when I injected the voltage, we saw this cap. It started melting, but I'm sure we need to replace the whole IC and these two caps themselves. And then let me show you why I said these lines are shorted. If I should read from that line, see, it's shorted to ground, right? It's not supposed to be both fronts and back. So let's remove this IC, remove these two caps, replace them, and then test it. Let's go. guys, as you watched in the previous scene, I have replaced the display IC and also these two caps that was closer to the display IC. I had this donor spare board here that I borrowed those two is from. So I borrowed them from this board. They were working perfectly, and then I installed them on here. So now let's check if it's still this line is still shorted to ground. Previously, if I should put my probes on the left here, this side was going to sound, which is quite normal because this is ground. I mean, this side sounds, and now this side is not sounding. So which means this line is now not shorted to ground anymore. But the problem is we cannot test this phone without combining the two boards together again. So we need to put the two boards together again. I mean, combine the two boards together, and now we can test this phone. So I'm going to put these two boards together, and then we test if there is image on the phone right now. So we have fully combined the two boards together, just cleaning the little leftover flags on the board, and now I think we should put this phone together and then test it. I'm going to assemble the phone halfway. I'm not going to fully assemble everything. I'm going to assemble the crucial parts that is needed to turn on this phone. So yes, I just plugged the wireless charging. Okay, and then I have to put the motherboard inside here. Okay, and then plug all of these connectors back. Okay, so alright. Okay, yeah, all going back. Okay, let me put the camera back. The camera is really needed. I do not want this phone to throw any camera code. So, alright, and the front camera also. Alright. Okay, and then the battery. So now the screen, then plug the battery, and I can insert a charger again, hoping for the best. And that is it. Now we have an image. Let me cover up this side in case the person has their face shown on the phone or something. Now we have an image, understand? So this phone came in with a no display issue. It wasn't displaying anything. Now the phone is successfully fixed. Alright, so yes. So yeah, we are done with this phone, and we are going to assemble it fully and then send it back. Understand? So if you have any iPhone related issue, but guys, please, most of the devices that we receive inside the shop have been tempted by other technicians, which makes it a little bit difficult to fix. Like it takes so much time to fix those devices. So if you have your device with us and it has taken more than a week, please, there are a bunch. I mean, we have like thousands of phones inside this